Alright, so I'm back again with another video on how to make Grow Garden UI, because last time I uploaded and it turns out I only edited 2 seconds of the entire video, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. Originally I was so confused with that video because I got one comment with a emoji and I was like, what's up? Because I thought the entire video was completely fine, and no, I uploaded it was 2 seconds, and I go to see the analytics and there was a lot of people that wanted to see that. Anyway, that's enough. Let's get into Photoshop. Right, so once we're in Photoshop, we're going to get 2 reference images. One of them I've taken is from SebDev, and the other one is just a screenshot from the game. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this seed shop just inside of my artboard. That means when I export, that's going to appear inside of my PNG as well. Now that's all we need to do really for this UI, and you can send this off to a client, you'll be fine. That is the end of the video. Thank you. Alright, I'm obviously joking, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a little texture from this, and it's going to be the stud texture from ROBLOX. You can find this on Google, or when I release this video there should be a gumroad for the video's files, so you can get it from there. I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to this bottom bit. I'm going to try and trace the rounding too. Right, there we go. And of course we just need to get the color. Right, cool. Now we can paste on our stud tile just like that, and the studs are quite big. We want to try and make sure this all equal across the shape layer. Create clipping mask for the stud tile, and then if you want you can just Control E to merge them together. But before that we want to turn this fill down a little bit, because if you can see that's not really that visible on the UI. Right, the next thing we're going to make is this top bar, which is green, and it has rounding at the top but it doesn't have rounding at the bottom. Now the easiest way to go about this is simply just to set the corners to 10 and leave the bottom corners at 0. And that's not rounded enough in my opinion, so I'm going to change the top corners to, I think 20 should do. All right, there we go, much better. All right, and from there we just want to change the color to match this. Once again, paste the studs on there. Make sure you have the stud selected first. Align it with your frame or the shape. Create clipping mask to the fill down. All right, now you'll see that that's perfectly in line with that, and it might just be a little bit bigger. All right, there we go. Now it's perfect. Now we can see there's a little, very tiny bit of shadow underneath. So we want to go into the blending options or layer style panel, and we need to make a drop shadow. Now we want the distance to be a tiny bit down and the spread needs to be at 0. Turn the opacity down a little bit, and you know what, I think that will do. All right, there we go. The next thing we need to make, which is really simple, is just this. It has no rounding at all, and once again we'll need to copy the color, and literally all this has is a inner shadow. All right, turn the distance down, turn the choke down, and the size should be at about there. All right, there we go. Actually, you know what, looking at it again, it has a really small stroke, so we're going to add that as well. All right, there we go. And it's the exact same pretty much for this. I'm going to teach you a little shortcut when we have stuff like this. Okay, so with this little viewport frame, instead of going into the layer panel again, we're going to just copy layer style, and then we're going to paste it into this one, and there we go. And literally all this is just a case of copy and pasting those. Now for these I want to make it a, well, I want to rasterize the layer style first and then merge them, and then I want to add a little shadow effect. All right, once you've got your shadow effect, you can keep it at that, and I believe the font they use is Fredoka 1, which you can get from Google Fonts. We need to turn this scale down. New seeds in 3 minutes and 0 seconds. We'll do that. We can keep that at that, and this does have a little stroke on it that we need to add, and we can just turn the size down on there. All right, now for the buttons, it is literally just really flat, and there's literally nothing to it. That is it. It is just the color, not really anything else. There is a stroke, but I don't think I'm going to add it. I mean, I could. Yeah, no, I'm going to add it just for the consistency with all the rest. That is one thing I want to make sure I'm teaching you all. Consistency is key within UI design. All right, there we go. And then all we need to do is make the close button. I'm going to not bother with the text for that. As long as we have these, it is fine as is. The thing is with text, you'll end up adding it in Studio, so you don't really need to add it in here. It's good for prototyping and showing it off to the client, but for today's use case on teaching you how to make this UI, I'm not going to bother. All right, and then as this is a shape layer, what we can do is just change the color to the gray, and there we go. Now you will notice on that one there is the stud tile texture, but we're not really bothered about adding that in, because all we need to show is this. And as you can see, this will also be in the description. We have created a Grow a Garden UI. It's not as good as the original video I did, but as I explained in the intro, that was 2 seconds long. But hopefully you appreciated this and I helped you out if you was looking for this. And don't forget to give it a little like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I'll see you in the next one.